Hi, and welcome to week one of our Writing for Online Instruction class. I wanted to create this video to walk through the LearningGrid for this course. You've all already completed LearningGrids either in Rhetoric 7371 or 7372 or both for some of you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Rhetoric 7373 grid and how you create that grid in light of the courses you've taken last semester. So I'm in our Blackboard course, and I'm going to go to the class website to get started into week one, where you'll find the week one activities and assignments, and the self-assessment grid is down here at the bottom of the page, and there's a template that you'll click on and open. And I'm walking you through this process because I'm asking you to create a new document from this template and share it to a saved folder. And I don't know that all of you have walked through that process yet in other classes. So this is the template for the OWI self-assessment grid. You won't have editing access to this template. I do because I'm the owner, so that will look a little bit different from you, but you should still be able to go up to File, go down to Make a Copy, click that and rename it according to the conventions of the assignment. And that is to add your name into actually it should be 1.3. Okay. Then immediately after you rename the copy of your document, you're going to click on this folder area and navigate to our shared folder. This will be different when you get into it because it's in the folder that I'm in right now, but you'll use the forward arrows or click on the links until you get to our shared folder for Writing 7373. Click on that link and select it. You can share it with the same people, but by setting it in that folder, it should give those permissions automatically anyway. And then you just click OK, and that's going to open up a document for you to complete. So the first thing you can do is delete those instructions because you have already done all of that, and it will leave you a little more space on the document to work. And I don't need to see the instructions because I wrote them. And then you can delete me saying that they need to be deleted. You can leave this until you're done, or you can delete that as well. These are the instructions for filling in the grid. And this grid looks a little different from the 7371 grid in that I've copied and pasted the learning outcomes directly into the grid from our course syllabus so that you have kind of a starting point to think of what these main terms, the key principles in the class, mean in terms of this particular course. So these outcomes look similar to the outcomes from our other classes, but they're actually tweaked just a little bit to be specific for online writing instruction. So review these learning outcomes. If you want to leave them there, you can. If you feel comfortable, you can delete them and to modify the grid for whatever you need it to look like for you. So then just like with the other grids, you just come down here and use this grid to brainstorm, to recall from your memory from other classes and experiences you've had, your understanding of accessibility in terms of motivation and attitude, presence and interaction in terms of motivation and attitude, your knowledge about accessibility. It should be starting to build because of the activities that you've already done in other classes. If you want to go back to those previous learning grids to pull information over, you can. What I'd like you to start to do here and in other places, especially the workbook, is to start practicing recall, pulling these things out of your memory before you go back and look them up. So in order to really learn to save things into our long-term memory and to begin to develop mental models and neural pathways, we have to put things into our memory and then recall them over and over to build those systems. That's how learning works. So for knowledge about accessibility, I might just think back to my 7371 course and say, I know how to use style sheets to create headings, and that is screen reader friendly. So I know how to do that because we practiced that in 7371. And just draft here, brainstorm what you already know from your previous classes before you go back and refresh your memory about those. You can go back and refresh your memory to fill this in, but it will help you to learn and to retain information better and to start practicing the process of creating mental models and neural networks if you first just try to fill this in cold to pull out from your memory what you remember about these things. So this again will be kind of the way that we structure or set up our closet for learning, like Julie Dirksen talks about. And I'm not asking you to identify specific areas you want to work on in this grid like we did for 7371 and some of you did in 7372, because we're really going to be hitting all areas of the grid in this class. This class is a much more practice-based class than 7371 and 72. You did create things in practice in those classes, but you also read a lot of learning theory. In this class, that's kind of flipped. You're going to read a little bit of learning theory, and then you're immediately going to go to practicing these skills and concepts. So once you've completed that grid, you should be done. You can just click out of that. It'll automatically be in that saved folder. And then when you go back in to find it, you can just go back into wherever you have saved that shared folder in your Google Drive. For me, it's in a 7373 folder. So you might want to go back and practice finding that folder now if you want to get familiar with how that process of saving documents into shared folders works. That's all I have for week 1. I think the other assignments are fairly self-explanatory, the discussion board and the workbook. If you have any questions at all about any of these assignments, email me, or you can use the chat feature in our UALR Gmail account to send a quick message that will ping my phone immediately. Have a great day, and I look forward to working with you in this class.